You're listening to the Current Plays Podcast, Season 3, Episode 35, The Anarchy. Now please welcome your hosts, Jordan and special guest host, Ryan. And welcome back, medieval listeners. This week we are talking about The Anarchy from Garphill Games, and I've closed the tab. So it's a one to four player game, designed by Bobby Hill and mentioned, as I said, by Garphill Games. And this week we have a special guest host. This is Ryan from How I Roll. Hello, Ryan.
Hello. Thanks for having me, Jordan. Really stoked to be here.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thomas is traveling, so we didn't get to play anything this week. We didn't have an episode last week either because he left before we could record. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm stoked to have you on and get an episode out to our listeners. So
Well, I'm happy to save the day and to
absolutely.
receive the $20,000 check that you pay your guests to come on, I'm assuming.
Yeah, well, the last guest was my son, and the only guest we've had since then was or before that was Jamie Stegmeyer, actually. So
Ooh, Jamie's awesome.
yeah,
He's so good about hopping on stuff like this, and he's does such a great job of it.
yeah,
How old
absolutely.
is your kids? Parentheses S kid.
My daughter's 13, my son is 10,
Oh, nice.
and they both do not like board games, but I've
That's nice.
managed to get my son to play Dice Throne.
Oh.
So we've been playing Dice Throne like once a week, except for the last few weeks. But anyway,
I think that's a good one because it's addictive. And so if you have kids that aren't really into board games, rather than trying to be like, hey, well, enter the world of board games, let's always play something new, you kind of get them hooked on, well, that's something that someone could get hooked on and want to binge a bunch, kind of typically. So
yeah,
that's
yeah,
cool. Yeah, I have my daughters are 8 and 5. They're fairly into board games. I mean, I wish they begged to play them more than they do, but
right.
my 8-year-old has been on my channel a handful of times, does some unboxings and stuff. So it's pretty fun to get to do that stuff with your kids.
I saw the Food Chain Magnate one today actually. So that
I
was
was
pretty
just
awesome.
telling, I was at Origins and someone was talking about dual layered boards. And as my daughter, when she does her unboxings, it's just off the dome. Like there's the odd time where I'm like, hey, Avril, look at the camera more. Or if she's like kind of hit a wall, then I'll give her, but she just does it off the dome. And during that one, she was like, yeah, these are dual layered boards. And I was telling people at Origins, I was like, my heart just exploded. I was like, my 8-year-old daughter knows what dual layered boards are. She's like talking about, I brought home some trinkets from Origin. She's like, oh, it's a D20. I was like, yeah, that's my girl. So,
Nice, nice. That's awesome. That's the dream, man. That's the dream.
yeah, well, enough about kids. Should we talk about a different kind of anarchy than parenting and talk about the
Yeah.
anarchy?
So the Anarchy is a follow-up to Hadrian's Wall,
Yeah.
which I loved that one as well. Did you play Hadrian's Wall?
I have not,
Okay.
and every time I think about the fact that I haven't, I regret it. So, yeah, I'm a huge fan. The ancient anthology that they have going on, like they're on
Yes.
title 7 and 8 or 8 and 9 right now is coming out. I did the How to Play for Towers of Sifnos, and the other one was the Great Sea. I think that's 7 and 8 or 8 and 9, maybe you know, but um, most of the games in that series have been bangers that I've played. I just haven't played a few of them. So
Yeah.
Hadrian's Wall is definitely on my list. I was
Can't play
thinking
them all.
about, pardon me?
You can't play them all, man. There's just too
Yeah.
many out there.
Well, I was actually thinking about because they're bringing the directional ones, whatever they call those, the trilogy series to it's going to come to a close unless they. I mean, he's signaled that it's going to come to a close unless they go with
Right.
like Northwest and Northeast and
Right,
whatever. But
right.
uh, I was thinking it would be cool to do. I've played quite a few of those, quite a few of the Ancient Anthology. If I could either collect some more from Garfield or collect some for my friends, actually do a ranking of the whole Ancient Anthology or the other series and kind of rank them all together would be really cool. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
Nice.
a big fan.
So in this game, basically you have two different sheets and you've got like a bunch of different colored meeples and a few different resources. And the game is really all about you're gonna flip a card at the beginning and that's going to give you some resources, some different colored meeples,
Mhm.
and then you spend resources and meeples to get stuff and like get more resources and other meeples to spend here and then you spend those over there and get other ones and it just goes back and forth and until you basically run out of stuff. And
Yeah.
then at the end of that round, you're going to get attacked. So that was similar in Hadrian's Wall, but it was I can't remember, just the barbarians, I think, or something like that,
Yeah.
were attacking. And this one, so this is actually one of the first things I'm going to say about this game. The theme is a little bit off-putting to me in the sense that, okay, this is based on historically the king the Henry the First died and he had no male heirs. So his daughter Matilda uh, was set to take the throne, but his nephew Stefan just basically swooped in and
Yeah.
stole the throne from underneath her, right? Because the patriarchy. And so I thought, oh, that's cool. So you're going to play as Matilda, trying to win her rightful throne back. No, no, no. You're playing the misogynist Stefan,
Yeah.
who's usurped the throne, and you're rebuffing Matilda basically, and like attacking her allies and stuff. So, like
Yep.
that part of it, I'm like, okay, sure, but it's still a fun game, right?
Yeah. Well, and I think, I mean, the theme, I think, is a reminder of, okay, I think as a millennial, the tendency is to be like, hey, it's 2026. We've got the most updated set of morality, and we've just got our own issues that are a different color and shade. So
Yeah,
back then, obviously, they had some different issues that are very obvious to us now. If they watched us scroll all the things we do on TikTok, they'd probably be like, you guys are jacked up, right? So, anyways, they're a different set of
absolutely.
issues, but it feels so like on the nose where it's like, but that's kind of the thing when you play any kind of, when you play any kind of like ancient game where there are like, so, Terra Mystica, I love that game, but at one point you can sacrifice your priests, right? I think that's what you do. You sacrifice them, and it's like, well, I don't hold to any of these pagan beliefs, and I probably don't want to murder someone in the name of one of these like mystical beliefs. But yes, I feel you on the theme. When I was reading that intro to, I didn't know this piece of history. I was reading, I was like, oh, cool, he left it to his daughter. That's awesome. And then it's like,
Right.
nope.
Nope.
And you get to play as the dudes rebelling against. Like, oh, okay, well, there goes
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. But so the way it plays out is great. You actually have this little tiny little board, right? And you actually build physically a castle.
Yeah, that's cool.
And so it's kind of they're dice like. There's two that are actually shaped like cubical dice, and then there's
Yeah.
four that are rectangular prisms, so they're four-sided to make the walls of the castle, and then these little cylinders which go in to make the towers. And then at the end of the round, you're going to flip cards, and it's going to show what direction you're getting attacked, and then what power. And what I like about this game is some of those cards are face up, but some of them are face down and give you like a hint of what attack might be coming
Mm-hmm.
and but you don't get an idea of the power.
Right.
Whereas, so that was a problem I had with Hadrian's Wall was that you basically you had three lanes that you could defend. So three like segments of wall,
Yeah.
and there's no way you could build all three segments enough each round. So you had to like pick one, and then when you flip the barbarian cards it's just luck, right? Whether you picked the right lane or didn't. But in this one, you do have like some information, and some of it's hidden, which keeps that tension going. But
Yeah. One, what's cool is, it gives you a bit of information, but I actually haven't played this a little bit, but you can actually peek, right? Like you
Yeah.
can there's an effect through like it costs you something, but you can actually spend something to peek and to make sure that you're well defended against it. And it not only does it kind of give you like it gives you not all the information you need, but it really gives you enough for those like those siege weapons or whatever you would need. Like you need a roof to defend this attack or whatever. So it is in this one more like if things fall apart for you, it's kind of on you. But
Yeah.
sometimes, sometimes I take that gamble because I'm like, I could, like in this game, like you kind of mentioned, every round you spend everything. You know, some games you kind of save some things because like, I don't need to do this now. Sometimes you don't really feel like you need to do a thing right then and there, but you lose resources at the end of the round. If you don't, so you just go broke every round. And so, a lot of times like, oh, I'd way rather do this than build up my weapon craft or build up my castle defenses or save some guys for defense. And then you pay, that's the gamble that you take. You know kind of what's coming to an extent, and then you kind of gamble that way. And so I like that. It is a little bit more of like a known gamble rather than a who knows what's going to hit me. So I do like
Right.
that a lot.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I find sometimes you'll end up at the end with, some resources where, okay, I could spend this now and fill out one of the sections. But that'll give me, if I spend them all, that'll give me this yellow meeple, let's say. And it's like, but I don't have anywhere to put that this round.
Yeah,
But if I save it, I could, spend one thing and get that next round. And so I find sometimes you're in this position where, oh, maybe I don't want to spend this right now, and maybe I'd rather waste it so that I can quickly get that resource next round. If does that make
totally.
sense? It's hard to explain when you're not looking at the sheets, but
No, I know. Like you have, one thing that's awesome too is since I haven't played this game in just a little bit, I like to call things by the right terms when I play games. Like,
yeah,
sometimes games come up with weird, obscure terms. So I'm like, what's the left sheet and the right sheet called? And I looked it up, and it's called the left sheet and the right sheet. It's like okay, but um, yeah, like there are definitely moments on those sheets where you're on like the penultimate step before a cool bonus, but you're
yeah,
like, I don't really want to get that bonus right at the end of the round. I want to get at the start of the round. So there are some moments like that where you might not spend in order to do that. But since you can't really keep a lot of things for the next round, it's often in your interest to spend. But it is true that
yeah.
sometimes you don't just because you're like, well, I'll waste that spot. Whereas if I, hit that up at the start of the next round, it'd be way more powerful for me. So that is true.
Do you like to how do you like to play? Do you like to play where you're building up the castle walls and defenses a lot, or do you tend to, because there's a lot of ways to defend in this game. So you mentioned the one which is the tactics. So you can put resources into certain tactics, which are include like making covers, having rocks. So if they're attacking your walls, you can throw rocks on them
Yeah.
instead of building the walls up, right? There's hot oil if they're at the gate. So,
That's my favorite one of those tactics is the hot
right,
oil.
yeah.
Just it's like so brutal.
So there's building up your walls, there's putting your soldiers out, and then there's the tactics. So like, do you prefer one or the over the other, or is it just kind of however it goes that game, or?
Well, to be honest, I think the thing that's the least appealing to me in this game is defending my castle. So I know I need to do it to some degree, but I would say that I run the risk on running that as lean as I can in this game
Okay.
because I want to build the engine. I want to go because in this game you build up your production on the left sheet, you do all those things, and then it comes over to the right sheet where all the magical bonuses start to open up. And so I want to I oftentimes I get so excited about ticking in more boxes that I forget about defending my castle much. And then toward the end of the round, I'm like, oh, okay, I gotta do something. And I'll do a minimal amount and just hope to scrape by. And sometimes that works out really well, where it's like, oh, okay, I didn't overspend on defense. However, what I will say in general, uh, I would way rather build a castle wall that's gonna have a permanent effect than like a one-time use tactic, which sometimes you do need. Like I forget which one it is. I think it's like the roof where like you're screwed if you don't like none of your walls are gonna you have to have that.
Yeah.
But burning meeples and burning tactics feels kind of demoralizing. Like you spend to get these things and you waste them. So out of those three, I'd way rather build up my moat and my castle walls and my towers. But like I said, I usually run the risk in this kind of game of like being on the verge of getting hurt by the attacks just so I can tick off more boxes. So,
Okay.
and
Well, that's one of the things is I can't not defend the castle. And I don't know. I'm always building up the castle, but then I find I'm never doing the St. Valentine's Day Festival or the Michaelmas or
yeah.
like all of the fun stuff on the right side kind of gets ignored for me because I just don't have enough to focus on it. And then the other part of it is a lot of that is, random chance. And it's like, well, no, I need something now, and if I pull the wrong cards, I'm not gonna get it. So I tend to like not do that stuff, but then your engine suffers when you don't do that.
It sounds like you and I are like the exact opposite. You're like making sure everything's really safe and secure, and I'm like, maybe we'll be okay when they attack. And I think that there's not a lot of randomness in this game, but there's enough that either one of those strategies could totally work or could totally fail.
Right, right.
Like if the cards hit hard, you're golden and I'm done. If the cards aren't so bad and it kind of lines up all right and you got the right meeples, then it's kind of a bummer for you because you missed out on some of the engine build.
Yeah.
I love building that. I think it's the governance track, the blue one where you get the mint. Like anything
Yeah.
that's increasing income, I feel like if I get to a point in the game where I'm getting a little bit more income each round than my neighbors, I'm just like, oh, I feel like I'm on top of the world. And I think probably I try to do that and then come back to defend my castle in like round three, four, five. And I
When you
just
have
kind of try
all
to,
the resources to do it.
yeah, I'm hoping. But the problem is if you get behind on the like if you get crushed in some attacks, then it kind of falls apart. But I'm hoping that I can get rich enough that I can come back and defend well and all that. But yeah, I don't know. The defending is cool, and I think those like those rectangular dice are. If you're listening to this, you don't know what we're talking about. Just go look at the components list. But it's these walls that have you can rotate to four different sides, and they have a different strength on them. Like they're such cool components, so I do like them.
Yeah.
I just am way more excited to up my income and kind of my like technology and stuff than build up walls. But
Well, see, I would like to do more of that, honestly.
yeah,
And then I just never do every time I play. But
yeah.
um what about attacking the castles? So there's another part of the game where there's five rounds and there's five different castles, and you have to every round you have to spend more and more resources to attack these, and they're supposed to be the allies of Princess Matilda. And you're attacking the castles to raid them for the resources. So you attack them, and then you get some points and you get some uh bonus. Well, there's lots of different bonuses. You could get money or
Oh, yeah.
resources or food, or well, that's a resource. I'm trying to think of what some of the other resources are, but anyway, do you always attack them, or do you usually not?
Again, I approach this like such a Euro game, even though there are elements of it that's not. I don't. The attacking isn't as exciting to me, but I'm just trying to scan the rules to find out what the exact punishment is. But the bigger reason I feel compelled to attack the castle is because you get punished for being behind on that castle track, right? Like if you're the one in last, I can't remember,
Yeah,
but
it's the
something
the
negative.
path cards. So normally at the beginning of the round you flip two path cards, right? So the path
Hmm.
cards give you your starting resources for the round. They also give you your scoring conditions. Um, the path cards are one of the scoring conditions. I think there you can get a max of 15 points on there. And if you're behind this is if you're solo. If you're behind the other tents, you only draw one path card. And I think in multiplayer it works the same, but I'm not sure because I've never played it multiplayer. So,
I thought there was some kind of discontent for falling behind on that or not
oh, do you get
attacking enough.
discontent too?
I could be wrong. Um, Maybe that's from not defending. I do think it's pretty neat though how there's that because this game is such multiplayer solitaire. Like you, which I don't mind. A lot of people say that as like a negative thing. I love it. I'm happy to be like, hey, I'm gonna do my spreadsheets over here. You do
Yeah,
yours.
me
Let's
too.
reconvene in 2.5 or 3 hours and see who did better spreadsheets. I'm totally fine with that. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Um, but I do think that castle element is the thing that makes it a little bit of like a race to like get ahead and to have done that. And if other people are doing it, then you're kind of falling behind. And even that ability to do the overwhelm attack where you can get like an added bonus is a cool way. Kind of what you're saying, if you've got resources to do a thing on your sheet, but it doesn't feel like the right time, then there's usually somewhere else you can put them, like an overwhelm attack where you could say, I'll spend a little bit extra. I'm going to really kick these guys' butts and get a bonus from that. So I do think it's pretty cool. I think I'm just saying the most compelling thing to me about this is checking off more spreadsheet boxes on my pages, as lame as that
Yeah.
sounds. So defending is probably my least priority. The attacking, I feel a little bit more compelled because you kind of have, I think you have, like, I don't think you could spend the whole game just never doing that and have a chance to win. I think you kind of need to. So it's just timing that well that feels great. And then, yeah, my favorite part is just the spreadsheet. But yeah,
Nice. Yeah.
it is a cool shared board and shared experience, and the variable rewards is pretty cool. So
Yeah, well, the other thing about attacking the castles is if you attack them all, it's like 16 points,
yeah.
right? By the end of the game. And not only 16 points, but it's moving you up on those tracks. So there's four main scoring tracks: bravery, loyalty, influence, and might. And
Hmm.
then where you end up on those tracks to like that are your points at the end. So there's you score for those four tracks, you score for the path cards, and then you lose points for discontent, which you
Yeah.
take by not feeding your people and not defending attacks, stuff like that. So but on those tracks, the bravery, loyalty, influence, and might, you're getting resources along the way. As you check those boxes, every 3 or 4 boxes, you'll get another meeple, or you get a point on another track. And yeah, it's all about managing, bumping up those tracks. And that's what always pushes me towards attacking the castles. Like the bonus resources are nice, but it's those points moving up on those tracks. It's hard for me not to do it.
Totally. Yeah, yeah, I'm just like scanning through the rule book here again and remembering all the little details because like it's really interesting. This game is like a really heavy game. Like I think quite heavy. Like this would be so far from what I would ever play with like a non-game. Like I have some
Yeah.
heavier games. Like I would probably rather introduce Galactic Cruise to like a non-gamer than this game. And when I say super heavy, it's not like, the concepts are that heavy, but it's like you got these two massive sheets, you got and there's just a lot of nuance and a lot to bring in and so many paths and options. Um, and it is really easy, I find, to like get so fixated on one part and then all of a sudden be like, oh, dang it. Like I've forgotten about the right sheet. I forgot about attacking. I forgot about doing it. And like you really are trying to strike some kind of balance. And I think that's one thing that makes this game pretty replayable is that there are just a lot of options and a lot of ways you could do that. You could play it the very militaristic route where you defend well, you attacked well, don't build as much of an engine. You could really focus on your engine. And then even on the right sheet, all four of those tracks seem like viable options to me.
Mhm.
I usually go toward the things that appeal to me, but they all seem like you could do it. So
Well, I think there's probably a viable strategy in like, okay, you don't defend every attack, and so you get some discontent. But then you throw a festival for the people, and then they don't mind so much, right? Because you basically fill in that discontent when you throw festivals and you get hearts. So
Mhm.
it basically erases those negative points, which I mean, you must rely on that if you're not doing the militaristic stuff so much.
Totally. Here I found it on page 35 of the rule book. Each player gains one discontent per face down scenario card to the right of their tent. So that's the thing.
Oh,
If you're lagging, like so say you just get one behind and you stay one behind for the game, which well, I guess it'd be hard to stay one behind because you jump up to the but even if you just average that, like having 5 or 6 discontent throughout the game is like a
yeah,
serious negative penalty. So that's what
yeah.
I was trying to remember. It's if you get a couple behind, like you're cooked, you know. So
Toast. Yeah, yeah. Because it's so the first discontent is like -1 point, not a big deal. Second discontent, -2 points again. But then from there, it goes up, right? So three is -4 points. By the time you get to five, it's -8.
yeah,
And then it, and then the track goes up to, it says 12 or more, you're -27 points.
which is a lot of points. Uh,
It's a lot of points.
there are a lot of games that have like some kind of corruption element or like whatever, and I'm usually the type of person that plays pretty like fast and loose with that. Like I embrace it. I don't know if
Nice.
you ever played this Lords of Waterdeep, the expansion Scoundrels of Skullport with the corruption.
Yep.
Like I just go in and I gather it all up and I'm like, I'll try to deal with this before the end of the game.
Right, right.
This game, like you can deal with your discontent a bit, but like you really can't just scoop it all up and be, ah, whatever. You're gonna get like you're gonna be in trouble if you rack up a bunch of discontent, you're gonna lose. Like you're not gonna win the game. So,
Yeah.
whereas in other games, that's kind of a viable strategy. I don't think it is. I don't think it is in this. If someone had like 5 discontent after the second round, I'd be like, do you want to restart? Yeah.
Nice. Is the getting the hearts pretty difficult?
Um, well, it kind of depends. Like, so I think, okay, I don't think it's that difficult, but I think it comes at a cost because you're going on tracks where that's kind of the main thing. I just think it's too much work to deal with the discontent that isn't really paying off in another way. I'm trying to scan and see what
Yeah,
the track is called,
that's
but I think it's the bottom track on the right sheet that's the main one
yeah,
where,
entertainment. Again, there's some different things going on with entertainment. So there's throwing tournaments, which is nice because it gets you knights, but you have to like throw a lot of tournaments before you start
yeah.
getting the discontent taken off. What do they call it? Um, that's just a heart. I don't know. Then there's the Llamas Festival where you're trying to get the flag symbols, and then you get whatever bonus is in. If you scratch off 2 flags, you get the bonus that's in between, and some of those are hearts. And then other ones is loyalty, which is one of the main point tracks. So it's this like balance of I feel like if you do it, you want to do it every round so that by the end you are filling out all of those bonuses. But if you're
Yeah,
doing it like a couple of times, you're gonna fill out like a flag here and a flag there, and you might not get any bonuses because of your
totally.
random draws, right?
I think it's called Joy.
Joy?
Um,
Oh, okay.
but yeah, yeah, I just don't I don't yeah, anyways, if anybody's listening to this, they're gonna play it, you can try to defy say challenge accepted and go get a bunch of discontent. I just think paying it back. So other Garfield games have like debt that you pay off. And
Yes.
it's not always like Paladins of the West Kingdom is I think it's my favorite Garfield game. My other two would the other contenders would be Ezra and Nehemiah and the Anarchy, actually. I actually like this game so much. Something's happened in the past year and a half where I'm like, I like verb and write games so much. I say verb because roll, draft, whatever, but
Yep.
like Tend, oh my goodness. I just played Clever Royal, which is the deluxe version of That's Pretty Clever. I played that. What that? It's like a new cutesy pink roll and draft and write. Oh, I forget what it's called. It's like a pretty game or whatever. But anyways, I love these games. But anyways, I've interrupted myself. in Paladins of the West Kingdom and games like that, you could take debt and
Yeah.
it works really well. And paying it off isn't too bad. And then you get like a benefit for paying it off. You get bonuses. And this, it's just
Yeah.
like you're just trying to get rid of negative points. And so, like I said, if you're listening to this and you're going to play this game, feel free to say challenge accepted and go for it. I dare you to try to win with getting a whole bunch of discontent. I just don't think it's going to happen. But
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I love the debt system in the West Kingdom games. I think it's great. The other one, so last week Thomas had me over and we played Lost Ruins of Arnak,
oh, yeah.
but we played with the new, and I know you like the proper names for things, but I don't know what
Ugh,
it's called.
I don't know
So
either. I haven't played any of the new stuff.
it's like the island, but it's at night and it's like
Okay.
it's all dark or whatever. And they have these dark tablets and they work
Uh,
just like the corruption in the Skullport. Uh,
yeah.
so it's the more you take, the more that you all collectively take, the more negative points they are. But
Yeah.
you can spend them to get like good bonuses, right? So
I love it.
yeah.
What is your favorite Garfield game? Like, where does this one land in
Oh
your
yeah.
lineup?
Okay, so I backed this with Scarbray,
Oh, yeah.
and I loved Scarbray. I played Scarbray a lot on Tabletop Simulator before I even got the physical copies in.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. So I started off playing Raiders of the North Sea,
Yeah.
and that's probably still one of my favorites. Played all the West Kingdom games. And I do really like those, but I've kind of cooled off on them, I'm going to be honest with you. Um, and the East Tigris games are all really good.
So,
Sorry, South Tigris. Yeah, East is the one they haven't done yet.
yeah.
Um, what have I played? Played Legend of You.
Oh, yeah.
Raiders of Scythia is pretty much just Raiders of the North Sea.
Yeah.
Ezra and Nehemiah is really good. I have trouble picking a favorite anything, I'm going to be honest with you. But I
That's
would
fine.
say probably Raiders of the North Sea, Ezra and Nehemiah, and Scarbray are probably my top three.
I did a review of Scarbray, but I can't remember if it's on my channel or when I was still at the Game Boy Geek channel. But that's a pretty cool game. It feels like it's definitely like faster and I think kind of lighter. Like it's still heavy decision mode, but kind of lighter than the Anarchy, that's for sure. Like I would
Yeah.
definitely teach that to a non-gamer before I'd teach the Anarchy. So
I feel like Shem was like, okay, we're going to do a resource management game. Let's turn it up to 11.
yeah.
Like, it's just, yeah.
Um, one of my, I got to get this in before we wrap up. One of my favorite things about Garphill Games is how good they are. And Shem and I have talked about this. One of his favorite mechanics in games is multi-use cards, and so it shows up in everywhere.
Yeah.
And some games they do it incredibly well. Every game they do it at least well, but some games they do it a lot better than others. Ezra and Nehemiah is an outstanding example of them doing it. But I think the Anarchy is like one of the best. Just the two aspects to the card. This is going to score points at the end of the game, and it's going to give you what your resources right now. And you're looking at, you're like, I need those resources. But man, that end game scoring thing is garbage, or vice versa. And then sometimes it lines up so well, and you're like, this is the best thing ever. But also, I
Right.
like that it gives you that not only asymmetric income, but it just pushes you each on a path. Like, oh, I need to focus on that. I need to focus on that. And so, I think this game. That's one of my favorite things about this game is besides the engine building is how well they did the multi-use cards. So
Have you noticed that if you pull two path cards and one is like, let's say it's you score points for building walls or something like that, right? Well, what do you need for that? You need craftsmen for that. Uh, that card will give you fewer craftsmen
oh,
than the other card
I
that
didn't notice that. I think I've just always noticed that I'm frustrated that the two don't match up. And now that you say that, I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
yeah, yeah, whatever it's giving you for points, it gives you
Yeah.
like the least amount for the resource that you need for those points.
That's cool. Oh, that's yeah. I mean, Shem's just brilliant, and I mean, I've always liked their games. Now I'm fairly consistently working with Garfield. They're one of the companies I'm working with the most right now,
That's awesome.
and I just so I'm not saying this out of like a biased perspective. I just think they just know what they're doing. They're so consistent what they do. Sam's such a good artist. Bobby's a great designer. Yeah, it's really great.
Yeah, 100% agree. I have a lot of Garphill games, and I actually was like, okay, I probably need to get some other games as well.
Maybe not.
But
Maybe
yeah,
Garfield's all you need.
yeah,
Well, so now Shem is sending me some games to do some how to plays for that are from a different publisher. I don't think he owns it. I actually should ask, but it's called Arcus. And I think they're slightly lighter. I'd grab one, but anyways, it's way over there. But one called Dreadful Dragons. He has another one from Bobby Hill coming. So they're doing kind
nice.
of another line of games over at Arcus too. So they just, yeah, I don't know. They make a lot of stuff, and it's pretty good.
He's a machine. Like, how many
That's insane.
games does this guy pump out a year? It's crazy, and they're all fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like it doesn't make sense. So.
So if people want to see some of your how to play videos that rip up the
Yeah.
rules, right? Where can they find you for that stuff?
Yeah, thanks so much. First of all, thanks for having me on. It's like an honor to get to come hang out with you. Been enjoying listening to your podcast, so it's cool to get to be a
Thanks,
guest
man.
on here. My channel is called How I Roll. It's on everything. It's on YouTube. It's on YouTube. It's just slash at symbol How I Roll. You can just search How I Roll on YouTube. It should pop up. On socials like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and technically I'm at X, but I don't do anything on there. It's at How I Roll Games because the other ones are taken. But yeah, you can hop on one of those and check out some stuff. And if you decide to hop on those and you got questions, you want to chat about games, you can slide into my DMs or whatever. And always happy to connect. But yeah, How I Roll, that's my channel, and love for anybody to come check it out.
Yeah, it's a good channel, great content.
Oh, thanks.
I well, I guess we met because you did this video about and it really connected with me. I don't know, it was hilarious. With the phone,
Oh, the
you're like,
Kickstarter one?
yeah, so you're like, oh, your partner asks to see your phone to see your messages. You're like, oh yeah, here you go to see your. I can't remember like your
DMs.
DMs. Yeah, here you go to see your Kickstarter list, and you'd like chuck the phone away. I was like, oh, that's brilliant. That was
Oh, thanks.
brilliant. Yeah.
We can all relate to that, right? So, yeah,
Yeah.
no, I try to do a mix of like kind of normal content like how to plays and reviews. In fact, if you're listening to this, I did a full review of the Anarchy on my channel. You can go check it out if you want to see some video content on it. But I try to do some funny things along the way. Maybe you've seen me do like the redesigns of logos
Yep.
on it's funny. It's just at Origins, and I pour my heart and soul into making how to play videos. Like I just did one for Stonemeyer, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is such a big project. The main thing people come up to me and say, like, I love your logo designs, and they're these stupid, ridiculous, like joke reels. But I don't know. I guess that's what people like to take in or whatever. So I got a mix on there. So yeah,
That's
having
awesome.
fun. Yeah. Well,
Well,
thank you so much. I really appreciate
thanks.
you having me on to talk about games. I love talking about games.
Yeah, thanks for
And
coming on,
my
man.
wife's
It's
grateful
great.
too because now she doesn't have to listen to me talk about games because I could go talk to another guy online about games. So thanks from her.
Well, great. I'm happy I could help.
Awesome, man.
All right. Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And that wraps up another episode of the Current Plays podcast. Check us out next week on YouTube or your favorite podcast provider. But until then, good gaming and good night.
Good night, folks.